Einchas lekalt, lilwet ulkan, statliumkan, uchamilch. Today I'd like to talk to you about what Orange Shirt Day means to many people, and that are in my experience. So for me, I'm 3 generations of my family went to residential school on my dad's side. And I'm assuming that was very similar to my mom's side. I will never know what it was. I will never understand what that was really like. I do know what it's like to be someone who is raised by people that went to residential school. And as time goes by, I have had a lot to think about, and the realizations of what happened in residential school and some of my assumptions, especially when the 215 children were found buried, and now we're close to 10,000 children that have been found in unmarked graves all across this country. And I had another realization, and that realization was that many girls became pregnant and probably died during childbirth, and those babies were also either died during childbirth because they were born to very young girls, or that they were murdered. And so I think of those children as well, that we just don't know about them. And it really hurts my heart. And I think about, I also think about how the children were fed in residential school, and knowing that they were eating rotten food and food that wasn't cooked properly, and had to steal apples from an apple tree in order to feed themselves and others. And I think about what that means to me and some of the things that I've struggled with. One of the things I really struggled with is, and I've healed these parts of me, but at one time in my life, it was okay for me to lie to white people. And it didn't even matter if I needed to or felt I needed to or not. It just was a natural thing. And I remember that realization that I was like, why am I doing that? Why am I lying? And well, I can just imagine that you learn to do that. So in my child mind, I picked up on those things, and through my parents and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and probably cousins that went to residential school, that's okay. It's okay to do that. And so I think about that, and I remember I was speaking to a group of people about it, like I was speaking on stage, and I was like, I don't want to be that person that lies to anyone. And I know that at one time in my life, if you were a white person, I probably lied to you, and I didn't even think twice about it. But I think, why would I do that? Well, when you are trying to survive, you have a great-grandmother, a grandmother starving as children in a residential school. They learned to save themselves by lying. And of course, then that would be passed on to me as an unconscious way of being. And so I want us to think about that and what that means, and think about the children that starved, and children that were punished for being caught stealing food. And what does that mean? And I think about this trip when I went to the Stein Valley. On this trip, we forgot a lot of food in the vehicle, and we didn't get lost. We got set behind 2 days, and where we were going to set up for base camp, there was going to be food there. So, but still, for 2 days, we didn't have food. And for 1 day, we didn't have water. And I remember sitting around the campfire. We were all sitting around the campfire. I think we still had like one big brick of cheese. And so we cut it up into even pieces so at least everybody could have some cheese. We had made it to a water source and we're enjoying the beautiful cold water. And we talked about Thanksgiving dinner. And, you know, because we were like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a turkey dinner right now? You know, with mashed potatoes and gravy and especially the pumpkin pie. You know, we just talked about it, and we decided that night that when we got back, we would celebrate our trip by having a Thanksgiving dinner with the whole team and our families, and it was beautiful, and it was tough. The camping trip was tough, but we made it to base camp and they had food ready for us. And, you know, but we made it, and it actually brought us together and connected us in a way that probably wouldn't have. I mean, we would have been connected regardless, but I think about that, and I think about the children. You know, that was like 2 days without food, and we were dreaming of good food. And so I think that the children probably missed their home, their family, their food, that they enjoy, you know, that they enjoyed. And so I want you to think about what that would mean for you to not be allowed to have that. And then also to witness, you know, the adults that were over them would eat these grand meals every night. And they would eat, you know, stale, moldy food, you know. So I want you to think about what's special to you, what lifts you and your family up, and to really think about what all that means. You know, eating dinner with your family, eating, sharing each other's stories, and loving each other and being together. And write those thoughts down, you know, and give them up as a prayer that these children will be able to share. Because as an Indigenous person, we really believe when we do a practice like this, you know, write your memories down, write your favorite food down, that when we burn these up, we are actually sharing with them and giving them some peace inside. We often do it as a practice at funerals. We will take the person's favorite food and put it in the fire for their last meal as they journey to the spirit world. And so I think this is a good way to offer that to all the children that starved and died in residential school and starved and lived on. You know, just give them that to nourish them and to share love with them. Thank you so much.